And this is part 2 of the video. But what what I was saying in the last video is that we can't get close to God as we would like to get close because of our flesh. The closest we could get is probably 600 miles, and then we can't get any closer because that's God, and God and our flesh don't mix together. So I'm going to Genesis 13. It says, blood gives life to the flesh. That is why it's so bad to eat blood. Because like whenever a lot of people go out and eat at restaurants, they like their meat to be medium or medium rare, you know, and they still, you know, a lot of people say the more blood in the meat, you know, the better, but they don't know that they're committing a sin while they're doing that. See, a lot of us don't know unless the Bible tells us, that the word of Jesus Christ tells us that is bad. But a lot of us don't know. But God is going to hold you responsible for that. Even though you don't know, He's going to hold you responsible. You know? Just the same way a lot of people that are here committing murders, they don't know it's a sin. They don't know it's a sin. Unless why? Unless Jesus Christ tells them it's a sin. Then they'll know that it's a sin and they're committing more murder. And God is going to hold them accountable for that sin. Okay? But a lot of people here in restaurants don't know that they're actually committing a sin, and God hates that. That they're eating blood in the flesh. And God hates it. You know, God hates it when we commit those sins or any sin, you know. So, but what I'm trying to say is that now that I know better, and me personally, you know, I've never liked that. See, a lot of us don't know unless somebody tells them. Me personally, I don't like my meat with blood all on it. I like my meat cooked all the way. And that's why God says you shall not eat blood, because blood is what gives the flesh life, you know. And now we're going to go to Genesis 13:13, and it says, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Okay? Men were sinners, and so are we. Okay? But you know why they were sinners, right? Because of the flesh. The men of Sodom were living in the flesh rather than living in the Spirit of God. Because if they were living in the Spirit of God, they wouldn't have committed the acts that they were committing with their fellow citizens of Sodom, you know. But they were living in the flesh, and God says, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. He uses the word exceedingly. And in other words, they were living for nothing but the flesh, day in and day out. Flesh, flesh, flesh. How can I bring pleasure to my flesh? Flesh, flesh. You know, bring the woman, bring the beer, bring the homosexuals, bring the lesbians, bring the murderers, bring the idolaters, bring the covetous, the revilers, the blasphemers. Bring them, bring them, bring them. We welcome them all here in Sodom. You can live however you want, and you can worship the God you want, and we could care less if there is a God out there, is how those people were living. So what did God do? He destroyed that whole town, the whole city. You know, He destroyed it. Why? Because people were living for nothing but the flesh, and whatever desires they wanted to give to the flesh, they went ahead and did those desires, and that's why God destroyed them. You know, because they were a very wicked city. And hopefully the city that you're living in is not as wicked as Sodom, because one thing God is very good at is bringing judgment upon people on this earth. A lot of people, believe that because we're here right now, God is not going to judge us, because a lot of people have in their mind that God is going to judge us when we die. That's what a lot of people have in their mind, that God only judges you when you're dead. Yes, that's true. He judges you when you die. But a lot of the time, he brings judgment upon the earth while people are still living, like in the case of Sodom. See, all these people that were in Sodom, they all died in one night. Now, how big was this city? I don't know. Was it 1 million? Was it 4 million? 6 million? Or just a couple 100,000? But all I know is that they all died in the same night. All of them. Night. Within minutes, within hours, but it was in one night. They all died in one night. And God brought judgment on them on this earth without them having to die. But then when they died, he judged them again. He judged them on the earth, and then he judged everyone individually when they died. Okay, but that judgment hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen in one day. At the end of the world is when Jesus Christ is going to judge everybody that's alive and everybody that's dead. Okay? But God judged that whole city. One. He judged them all. Not in the way where, I'm judging you here. No. He judged the whole city, that they were very bad and wicked. So he made brimstone and fire come from heaven